to say, so I'm not going to bore you with a long speech. But it was in 1959 that I got interested in doing a trade of some kind. I've always liked construction. And so when I first got out of high school, I got a job digging ditches. And that was for a general contractor. But then I had an uncle who was in the union in Richmond. And Richmond back then was a unionized city. It isn't now, but it was then. And so Uncle George, he got me into the apprenticeship program. And so I got into the apprenticeship program. It was a 5-year program, which I had to go to night school 2 days a week. And then I had to keep track of what I did, and I would turn that into the apprenticeship program people. And what they would do is make sure I had hours in housework and control work and every phase of electrical work. And then if where I was working, for example, I didn't do much housework because I didn't want to do housework. But they transferred me to Cornell Walborough, and there was a housework contractor. And so I had to go there. and so I worked for Cornell Walborough, for about a year, 6 to 8 months a year. And it was funny, they put me with a guy, and he was a guy that liked to stay up all night playing cards. And so when he come back to work, he expected me to get behind the wheel and go to where we was going. He would teach me how to wire. All he did was wire the furnaces and all for the houses. So he would teach me how to wire the houses and the furnaces, and then he would go to sleep. So he found out pretty quick I had a bad sense of direction. He would wake up. He said, "Where we at?" I said, "Daggone, I know." And so anyway, that was fun. It was actually fun going from one contractor to another. The ones I worked for Shearer & Wilmer, which they're still there, and they're still a union contractor. And they had a control shop that did nothing but make control panels. And I got involved in that, so that was real interesting. And so I worked for Shearer & Wilmer for I don't know, a year and a half. And then I went to a place called Union Electric, and Union did all kinds of work, mostly commercial work like you guys are doing, and industrial. And then I went to a Womack Electric, and Womack Electric was good to work for. Harry Womack, he was an ex-lineman. And so working with him, he taught me how to climb poles. And every time the fair would come to Richmond, we would wire everything up, and we had 40-foot poles, and I had to climb the poles, and I got used to it. I was young then, and I liked that. I remember one time everything was running, going smooth, and all of a sudden the Ferris wheel was shut down. Everything shut down. I said, "Oh my goodness!" And I looked up there and I saw that the high voltage fuse was out. And so I said, "I ain't going up there." So I called Harry Womack, my boss. I said, "You got to come over here and give me a hand." I said, "I'm not sure if I can handle it." And I said, he came out there, and he had a necktie and coat on. He kept his necktie on and put the climbers on up there. And he threw that thing in, and it drew an arc that long. I mean, it seems that long. And he said, "Boy, you just got to get used to it. Ain't no big deal." So anyway, he was a lot of fun to work for. And so the last company I worked for was H.B. Foley. H.B. Foley was either the second largest or the largest electrical contractor in the United States. And they had a home office in Richmond, and I had for a while I worked for them in Richmond, and then I got invited to come to Charlottesville and work in their office as a manager, and so as a project manager. And the manager was Ron Sled, a good friend of mine. And so as soon as I came there, within about a month, they sent Ron Sled to Tennessee to open up another branch and left me in charge of the whole thing. And of course that made me nervous because I didn't know nothing about that kind of stuff, And anyway, everything worked out, and as I stayed there, H.P. Foley got in trouble with things above my head. It was some kind of a bid rigging thing, and they came around, and people in my category pretty much got fired. I thought my boss was coming there to give me a bonus. You know, he come upstairs, and he was smiling and everything. And that's what he usually did, to give me a bonus. And he said, "Kenny, I hate to tell you this, but I want to let you go because you're hiring your friends, and that's not really fair." Well, you know, I'm hiring all my friends, my goodness. But anyway, I talked to him for a few minutes, and I said, "Well, you know, I opened up and I did open up the first non-union part of Foley, and that's what the shop I had did." And I told him, I said, "You know," I said, "here I went and gave up a lot to open up a new branch here for you guys, and to be in non-union." He said, "Well, tell you what, I'll give you a bonus." I said, "Okay, that sounds good to me." And so he did. He gave me a nice bonus. I took that bonus money, and then I went in business for myself. And I had already established clientele all over the place working for the Foley Company. And so that's when a lot of you, what I did, I used that old equation, you know, you hire people smarter than you are, and you try to pay them good. And that's what I did. I tried to pay everybody above what was normal. And we started off small. And I was at the time that I got fired, I was doing a job at Platinum Pinoplast. That's a big plastic plant. And so we were wiring the building as a contractor, but the machinery wiring, Kleitner had sent me to Montevideo, Germany, to see the machines over there, and it was very complicated. And I stayed there a week looking at them, and come back, and he said, "Okay, what's the price?" I said, time and material. So anyway, but long story short, when I got fired, I took my family and just went off to the beach. And I decided to call Harry Van Beek, he's the president, and tell him my problem, that I no longer work for Foley. I said, "But you spent a lot of money sending me to Germany." I said, "I'll be glad to show anybody what I know about him." He said, "See me when you get back." I said, "Okay." So when I got back from my vacation, I went down to see him, and he said, "I want you to do the whole job." Well, it amounted to a $400,000 control job. And I said, "I appreciate that." I said, "If I don't have that many people on the payroll, and I don't have a team put together." He said, "Well, put them on my payroll." I said, "All right." So I did. I put guys on his payroll. And so what I did, because I got fired, I wouldn't have done this if I hadn't got fired, but I got fired. So I would pick people I knew that were good electricians from H.P. Foley, and I would hire them. One here, one there, and I got to a point where the Foley Company came and called a meeting with Harry Van Beek. He called me in there, and he told Harry Van Beek, he said, "Kenny is hiring all my men." Harry told him, he said, "Well, I thought this was a free country." Harry's from Germany. He said, "I thought this was a free country." He said, "Well, it is." He said, "But I'm having a hard time." He said, "Well, you have to do something for yourself." He said, "I can't stop Kenny from hiring you men." And so I hired over 20 of his guys. But he got the job done. They were big. And the ones I hired stayed with the company pretty much till I left. And so that's how I got the company started. And that's how that design got here. Let's see. I think another question Greg wanted me to answer is how have things changed in the industry since when I was in the field and the way it is now? Well, to be honest with you, things now have got a lot better safety regulations, a lot better safety regulations, and there seems to be, at least in this company, a better communication between the office and the field than we had back then. And it's kind of like it's a team effort. And so I appreciate that. I think that's a good thing. And so it hasn't changed that much. I mean, we still use 76 wire nuts and 74 wire nuts, stuff like that. And so anyway, I do appreciate all of you being here, and I think this is a very good company, and I think that ESOP arrangement is a very good arrangement. And we all put that into effect before I left, which means that you guys actually own the company. So that's a good thing for you. It's a good retirement thing. You got any questions? Okay, I can see some of y'all are going to sleep, so I'm stopping.